All right, guys. Currently, the seat of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is shaking. Nigerians are fed up. Aso Rock is under fire. The pressure is mounting on INEC, APC, and President Tinubu as Nigerians express outrage over the continuous economic hardship, controversial policies, and electoral injustice. Citizens are rising protests, testifying, and political tensions are boiling at the heart of Nigerian's power center. Is Tinubu's government crumbling under the heat? So watch this explosive update for the full story. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe for real-time update on Nigerians political drama. I beg this one at Prospect Channel TV. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Share this video, make it go viral. I beg share them so that Nigerians could understand waiting they happen, for this country today. Thank you. Let's get there. I'll be right back.
Two questions that reasonable Nigerians are asking from the leaders of Nigeria's political coalition that has adopted the African Democratic Congress (ADC) as its political platform for the general elections in 2027, with particular reference to the presidential election. Are two questions. The first one is more complex than the second one, and it is this: that why must it be that only somebody from the north can defeat the incumbent president Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027? Why must that be? And whose idea it is that only somebody from the north can defeat Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027? Whose idea is that? Where is that idea originating from? Who cooked it up? Or who brought it up? Who and why? So I don't think we have been giving any explanation as to why only somebody from the north can defeat Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. Other than to accommodate the initiator of the coalition, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who the whole world knows has been desperate to become Nigeria's president since 2007. He aimed at succeeding the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, to whom he was vice president 1999 to 2007. He failed because he is from the north, and Obasanjo is from the south, with specific reference to southwest. And since then he has been trying all his best to become Nigeria's president. Doesn't want to know whether it is the turn of the north or not. So his sense of justice is zero. His sense of justice, consideration for other people is zero, even from that point of view alone. Up to 2023, when the former president Muhammadu Buhari ended his own 8 years from the north, and Atiku Abubakar does not see anything wrong with another person from the north itching to become Nigeria's president by all means. So that means that he is as desperate as the former president Muhammadu Buhari, who was also desperate. But despite his desperation to become Nigeria's president, he became Nigeria's president, and what did he do? He only worsened the situation of Nigeria, adding herdsmen terrorism to the ravaging war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, a community that was peaceful throughout the presidency of Olusegun Obasanjo. He perpetrated the war and added herdsmen terrorism. So with all his desperation, what did he do after becoming Nigeria's president? And that is how Atiku Abubakar is also desperate. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was as desperate as saying it is my turn, meaning that between himself and Muhammadu Buhari there was an agreement that they were going to succeed each other. And he too became the president. What has he done in more than 2 years as Nigeria's president? Perpetuating the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, perpetuating herdsmen terrorism, and adding his own. All subsidies are gone, and the obvious consequences are there. Multiplication, mushrooming, armed bandits, and even more terrorist organizations coming to Nigeria. You don't want to be in the northern part of Nigeria, in Zamfara, in Niger State. Zamfara, Niger State, in the north central, not to mention Sokoto, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina itself. Katsina is worse hit despite producing 2 presidents of Nigeria, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua and Muhammadu Buhari. So what has the north to show? for wanting to be the president by all means. What has he not to show? What has he not to show for that? But whose idea is that, other than the political camp of Atiku Abubakar? And the second question is also based on the argument that for democracy reason, the presidential ticket of the ADC cannot be considered to a particular person because we are in a democratic setting. So therefore, the presidential ticket must be open to north and south because of democracy. So meaning that democracy supersedes justice. That is the impression. That's the argument. So democracy devoid of justice. The democracy is superior to justice. Democracy devoid of justice. Or what? Because now we want north, south, and zonal justice, so that we have a modicum of justice in the presence of political, economic, religious, political, and economic injustices. It is religious, political injustice against the Boko Haram Muslim community, protesting the abuse of Western education to perpetrate haram, which nobody can deny, leading to gross underdevelopment of Nigeria and mass abject poverty. And you declare war on the community, saying that the Islam of the community is unorthodox. So to be orthodox, Muslim must indulge in Boko Haram. Or what are they telling us? What are they telling us? And also, if you want to do north-south justice, you must also do zonal justice. And in the south, we have three zones. The southwest produce Olusegun Obasanjo 8 years. The south produced Goodluck Ebele Azikiwe Jonathan 8 years in Aso Rock as vice president and as president, 2007 to 2015. Goodluck Ebele Azikiwe Jonathan, even though he too is still itching to return to Aso Rock, and because he perpetrated the war against Boko Haram, that as desired by the Muslim imperialists, they don't mind having him back so that Nigeria can be perpetually ravaged by governmental terrorism, leading to worsening mass abject poverty and boosting terrorism, boosting armed banditry. So those are the issues that the so-called leaders of the coalition, so they have ulterior motive, and their motive is as clear as sunlight. So anybody supporting the coalition short of justice is unjust, and we face the wrath of God, because all those inflicting hardship on Nigerians will face the wrath of God, telling lie that there is something called fuel subsidy in Nigeria. Subsidy from where to what? That question has not been answered. So devilish people are supporting the unjustifiable and avoidable war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, and supporting herdsmen terrorism, grazing of cattle in agrarian fields. How is that not an absurdity? So nothing matters anymore, and even a professor can accept to be the chairman of the All Progressives Congress, that is actually All Retrogressive Congress 2015 till date, telling lies against fuel subsidy, and even claiming to be transferring funds to indigent households while paying workers less than with living wage, and even sinking Nigeria in debts. So where is the hope? Where is the sanity, religiously, politically, and economically? And we say, let us start with justice, not south and zonal justice. You say because of democracy. Democracy is more important than justice. Democracy devoid of justice. It is as absurd as grazing cattle in agrarian fields, and as devilish as waging war against a community protesting Boko Haram, abuse of Western education for human exploitation, leading to gross underdevelopment of Nigeria and worsening mass abject poverty, which nobody can deny, other than the Fulani Muslim imperialists that initiated the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, taking undue advantage of the presidency of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. And because Goodluck Ebele Azikiwe Jonathan was desperate to become the president, he keyed into the war, handed over to another Fulani Muslim imperialist, Muhammadu Buhari, and somebody who became Jagaba of the Fulani race, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We don't know whether his mother was impregnated by a Fulani herdsman or a Fulani. We don't know why he's doing what he's doing. So my own conclusion has always been that maybe Tinubu's mother was impregnated by a Fulani Muslim imperialist, because he became the Fulani Jagaba. So how do you interpret it? I need your intervention. But as for the coalition, if it wants support, must hold the line of justice or forget about it. And I've told Peter Obi, if by now they are still dilly-dallying find your way. PDP, any other one? Nigerians, don't let us continue to support perpetrators of politicization of Islam and Christianity. What they will do and want to continue to do is what they are doing. And Atiku Abubakar has let nobody in doubt that he's looking for power to continue the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, and by extension, I believe, herdsmen terrorism, as it were. And all subsidies are gone. So, if that is what you want, good luck to you. Otherwise, Peter Obi represents North, South, and zonal justice. And I don't know anybody who is with that cap other than Peter Obi. Not even the Southeasterners, the Igbo people. And let me ask, why must Igbo people, the Southeast, must be alienated and marginalized? So 3 zones in the South, 2 have produced somebody who is the head of Nigeria, not Southwest, South, remaining Southeast. And you are doing everything to ensure that nobody emerges. For what reason? If you don't want the Southeast again, tell them to let dismantle Nigeria and see who wants to belong and who don't want to belong. But to say that the Nigeria's unity is not negotiable, that was the dirty language of Muhammadu Buhari, and now eulogized by his kind Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the rest of them. Even Nasir El-Rufai, he said Muhammadu Buhari is his political godfather. And nonsense, rubbish, dirty things like that. Garbage, stinking. So support the Southeast with particular reference to Peter Obi, the only person from the Southeast that is ready, and Nigerians are ready to support him. Not Atiku Abubakar, who does not care. All he cares about is how he will become president, like Muhammadu Buhari and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Providentially, we have seen what desperate people can do, that they don't mean well. If you mean well, you will not be desperate for anything. You will not take anything as do or die. Atiku Abubakar is as desperate, not less desperate than Muhammadu Buhari, who was weeping in 2011 that he did not become Nigeria's president, and he became Nigeria's president 2015 to 2023. He worsened the situation more than anybody, and the only person that has surpassed him in sinking Nigeria is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So another desperate person who has been desperate since 2007 till date to become Nigeria's president, not minding his age, not minding any form of justice, but how to become Nigeria's president. No way, by God's grace, no way. Enough is enough of spoiling Nigeria, of messing up Nigeria with Islamization and Christianization and corruption. 3 things: Islam, Christianity, corruption. Abusing Western education to perpetrate corruption, messing up life of Nigerians in a nation blessed with abundant human and material resources. Nigerians, wake up from your slumbers. Your church and mosque, if they will save you, they will have saved you by now. Stop being deceived. You can see that those who invited Peter Obi to Edo State invited him because of his money, a Catholic hospital. And that is what he's known for, supporting Catholic institutions. That's what Peter Obi is known for. But he's not worse than any other person. That's my argument. All we can do is to continue to bombard him, to prepare him for the task ahead. That's my concern. Not that there is a better person that I know. No, there may be a better person. I don't know the person. The person we know now is the person we can relate with, Peter Obi.
I'm going to be talking about something called the genesis of distortion. I titled it, I said the genesis of distortion. The reason why Nigeria it is today is because there's a genesis to the distortion. It didn't start today. And I'll take you back to some key dates. I'll take you back to the year 1914. The year 1914 was the year they amalgamated the Northern and the Southern Protectorate. But before then, the British had first amalgamated the Southern Protectorate, because you see, when they came, they met us fighting ourselves. Prior to that time, we have fought the Kiriji and the Jalomi wars. So in the South, for instance, when the British came, the only thing they had to do was just to unite the warring factions. Because the Ijeshakiti Parako were fighting deep, the Oyo people and all of that. So we were fighting, and we had made a lot of slaves. Most of the people that went from the Kiriji and Jalomi wars were those that went as slaves to Latin America. Those are the people that came back as what we call the Agudaos. These are the likes of the Darochas. So that's why you see that Lagos Island is filled with a lot of Brazilian architecture. They even celebrate Fanti Festival. In fact, we eat frijon in Christmas. Frijon is not native to us. It's Portuguese food. So those were the cultures they brought back. But how did we get those cultures? Because we were fighting. So they said the kingdom of God suffered violence, and no violence can take it before. We were already fighting from hitherto. Then the British came, settled the fight, then they colonized. The first inroad of the British in what is called Lagos colony today came in the middle 1800s. when two people too were fighting over the throne of Lagos, Kosoko and Akitoye. So they called in the British to come and settle fights. But you see, when you call a bigger man to come and settle fights of something that is very juicy, what do? They take it from you. So when Akitoye went aboard a ship called the HMS Prometheus on the Lagos Marina here, and he said, the British said, we don't know what you're talking about. Sign this edict that you will cede Lagos to us. So Lagos became a crown colony, and that's why in 1906 the first thing we did was the Southern Protectorate, the other fighting parts of the Yoruba parts, and Lagos colony. And that's why you see up till 1960, in fact when we gained independence in 1960, residents full born in Lagos had a chance to either choose a British passport or a Nigerian passport. But a lot of them opted for Nigerian passport. So after that amalgamation, they started to rule over us. So guess the things they started to do to us. The first thing they did was they distorted our mindset. That's the genesis of the distortion. So they told you that your black color was never good enough. How did they do it? Indoctrinations. At first, they tell you have to go through an education system, and after the education system, they say your language was not good enough, so they taught you in English. Have you ever wondered that if we are taught mathematics in Igbo, there will have been more people with a sound understanding of mathematics than in English? So the first thing you have to do, you have to learn your colonizer's language. And when you learn your colonizer's language, they took away your identity on how to think. So they call your customs and traditions idolatry. And the last thing they did was that they set up a fight between you, because they know if you are united, then there's going to be a problem. You remember the Tower of Babel? Even our God knew the importance of unity. So what did he do? He changed the language. So they set up a fight. And it's so easy. How would they do it? They have agents. Stir up ethnic strife. Yorubas will fight Hausa, Hausas will fight Igbos and all of that. And they fan the embers. And they constantly do it. So the first genesis of distortion was initial colonialism, and they continued. In fact, they did it up till 1959, when we had the first elections, the 12th of December. You know what they deliberately did? That election, we know who won the election. Who had more votes? The NCNC had more votes. But originally, the British had planned that it was going to be a hung parliament. You know what they call a hung parliament? A hung parliament is when there's no clear winner in a parliamentary system. So you have to form a government of national unity. The British had known that it would be either the Yorubas and the Igbos, the Action Group, or the NCSC, and the MPC. The MPC was standard. So that was how they did it, and that was what happened. But they knew that was going to bring a very big problem. You had a boisterous Action Group in opposition. There was going to be problems. And they knew it was not going to last. And they knew that it was going to open more fault lines that led to the war in 66. So have you ever wondered that it was just after 6 years after the first elections? No, then we had another elections in 64-65 that spanned into 64-65. So pretty much 6 years after the first election and 2-3 years after the second election, then we had a civil war that further deepened the fault line. So the first agent of distortion, and I'm sure we all know that, it will take years for you to recover from such a strife like that. So they have set the tone for what become the war, and they are giving it to us at a beat, and we are taking it. So once we are taking it, once we have fought the first civil war and all of that, and when the civil war started, they were the ones that started selling their weapons. So afterwards, they have started the first genesis of distortion. They had caused hatred amongst us. The hatred means that we will never be able to come together. And please, that's why I say every wall of hatred you have for your brother, break it. Because if they can take our unity, they can take our strength. So once they cause that hatred, we couldn't come together again. And that's what we've been circling with. In the last election, our problem was not about tribe or religion, but they made it about tribe or religion in the end. Because they know the genesis of distortion. So that's the first genesis of distortion. And that's why you see that life in Nigeria has now become something like an Obasian state. It is brutish. We talk about Leah Sharibu. Leah Sharibu is a symptom of a deeper problem. We talk about Nigeria not work. It was not structured in a way that it was going to work, because people wanted to take it for their own benefits. And that's why they don't like the truth. That's why they want to dominate every sphere. They want to shut people down in the media when you try to rat them out. So they deliberately put all of these things in place so that these systems and these hegemonies will not make you come together or work. You think all of a sudden Boko Haram just started? It's also part of a grand system. Now that we've properly destroyed parts of this country with kidnapping, insecurity and all of that, it's easy for non-state actors to roam wild. So there was a genesis to the national distortion, and they knew what they were doing. Pre-independence, post-independence. This game is so big that our politicians are just being played as a pawn in the game. But you know why it's easy to play our politicians? Because they see their greed. A nation can never grow if the leaders are greedy. A nation can never grow if the leaders are greedy. Once they see greed, they exploit the greed of the leaders. Have you ever noticed why is it that most African countries are poor? Because their leaders are greedy. And they are taking advantage of the mindset of their leaders to destroy the nations. For what reason? For natural resource. Because they know we are blessed. You know, Nigeria has the capacity to be a $10-15 trillion economy, even more than that. America is going to about 20 trillion now. We have the capacity to be a superpower. But you know, we have so much resource. So the next thing they do is they target the greed of our leaders and the selfish interest of our leaders, and they pull the buckle. So our leaders are so content with them having 5-10 billion in their bank accounts rather than the collective development of the people. I mean, look at how bad the roads are in Lagos. For Lagos that collect a lot of taxes. So it's not even about the politicians. It's about the systems that break all of us down, that create this national distortion. Even with our security system. That's why you see it will now have different layers. They will put ethnicity in it. They will put religion in it. But these things are deeper than ethnicity and religion, because they need you to be confused about the dimensioning of these systems. They don't want you to think and know where it's coming from. So the truth is, you can't grow beyond the system that is fraudulent. That's why you see the way we are today with the Naira. All of a sudden, the Naira that used to be 1-to-1 with the dollar, look at where it is today. It's 1,004 something. When they were defending the Naira and we kept on telling them there are no fundamentals, they thought I was joking. They said, oh, that boy is a stupid boy. Has the Naira not started rising again? For a country that is so much blessed with milk and honey and its currency cannot be stable, you will know to a large extent that it's because the leaders are not thinking right and they've been sucked in. So maybe sometime soon we'll defend the Naira even more and it will go back to square one again. But please do not think the Naira will go back to where it used to be before. I'm sorry, I'm in the church. I believe in hope and faith, but I'm a realist to the core. I'm not sabi deceive people though. If you think it will be 1-to-1, be careful with what you think. Except we change the systems and the mindset that makes it difficult for us not to be able to produce as a country. Except we become a productive nation. Except we now start to tackle the genesis of this national distortion, we're not going to go anywhere. So insecurity as ceiling is a symptom. Have you ever wondered why growing up the same army that used to be so powerful cannot get rid of bandits? So you think all of a sudden it just happened? It didn't just happen. You think the system just got destroyed like that? It didn't just start. It was systematically, and they kept on seeping into our consciousness and our mindsets. That's why you see it's getting more difficult by the day. But you see, in all of this, for those that have facts and know the Lord, their feet shall be firm on the ground. But the thing is, it's not about just having facts and knowing the Lord. So what are you doing about it in your space? Are you part of the national greed? Because the world has enough to meet human need, not human greed. So we have a leadership that wants to meet their greed and meet our need. It can never be possible. That's why you see how much trillion, 26, 27 trillion budgets. It's not going to go far. You know why? There's so much greed. A lot of people want to eat. Egunje. So those are the real agents of distortion. Except you understand that these systems are systems that were built inherently not to make Nigeria work, we will be fooling ourselves. And people like Leah Sharibu and other people that have been caught in the crossfire of Nigeria are just victims in all of this. They're just symptoms. The issues are deeper. In the last 10 years, have you seen real progress? It keeps decelerating. Have you ever wondered why? Because there are no fundamentals. All we have is little successes that people amplify, but it doesn't make it true. What 50 naira could buy 10 years ago, can it buy today again? We say we have gas, we are flaring gas, but we can't buy gas in our own country without having an exorbitant fee. We produce electricity, but it's not enough. Despite the fact that they don't give you power, they now come and say band A. And you're not even getting the band. The electricity agency is like bandits. Today, this morning, I had lots of power in the house. I recharged, how much was it? 35, 40,000 naira. And I got, I think, how many units did I get? Maybe a little over 100 units. But have you ever wondered, why is it that at some point power was a lot better then than it is today? Some people will say, oh, it's because Nigerian population grew. No. It's because the system kept on getting corrupt and more greedy and more greedy and more greedy and more greedy to the point of distortion. And if care is not taken, it's going to be worse. I don't like to deceive people though. Yes. If the church does not rise up and speak truth to power, if the actors do not rise up and speak truth to power, it's going to be worse. If they ever told you that we can have a country where they can kidnap somebody for close to 10 years, would you ever have believed it in Nigeria before? No. If they ever told you that you have a country where food can be this expensive, would you ever believe it? If they ever told you that Nigeria now will be so at a point that Benin Republic, their currency is bigger than ours. If you saw the front page of the Telegraph newspaper yesterday, they said Nigerian neighboring countries now reject Naira up for CFA and dollar because CFA is 650 to the dollar. Naira is 1,004 something to the dollar. And if care is not taken, it's going to be worse because at some point we are getting to 1,900. This was the same CFA that as at the early 90s, 16,000 naira was 1 million CFA. So the ingredients of national distortion, and in all of this, the political class still wants to grab power. So the ingredients of national distortion is greed. But the funny thing is, what I'm more scared about is the greed of the people. Because you see, all of these unscrupulous politicians, they have agents. Some of them will have agents in this place, isn't it? But because, and I'm going to talk to you today, because of what you want to benefit, you see the truth and you look away. You don't know you're doing yourself. Because if this country is good, it's going to be good for all of us. If this country is not good, it's not going to be good for all of us. Are you happy the way it is that as a city as big as Lagos, we don't have pipe-borne running water? When last can you open your tap and say this is government running water? And for you to still do borehole, they're going to charge you for doing borehole. But guess what? I had a friend that was telling me, I said 1992, when he moved into his house on Molly Estate, there was pipe-borne running water that came into his house, and they said connect to government water. So how did the situation become deplorable over the years? So these are the agents of national distortion, and that's why I say insecurity is just part of them. The same north that people used to love to drive to in the past, very lovely roads, that your car will even break down. You will sleep on the road. Are places that you can't go again because of greed and national strife. But let me tell you, they will look for all sorts of things to cloud it. They will call it, oh, it's because of tribalism and everything. That's why you, the people, need to be united. Yoruba, for an Igbo man, the Yoruba brother is not your problem. For a Yoruba man, an Igbo man is not your problem. For an Hausa man, and a Igbo man is not your problem. The thieving political class are your problems. Because of their own greed, and they don't want you to thrive and move further. And because it's always been a fight between the masses and the bourgeoisies. That was what the British too did during the colonial days. They will always build systems of exploitation from you. They will levy you, they will tax you. Number one system of them is taxes. Now they want to collect what tax from you? Cyber security taxes. Has your earning increased? So, and that's the mindset of, if you continue to get richer, why a lot of people continue to get poorer? Real quickly, how do we break these agents of national distortion? Number one, unity. We must unite across every cultural bound, because our real problems are the perpetrators of evil, not your brother from another tribe. And that's why today I come here on behalf of Nigeria. Anybody that's been caught in any tribal debacle or war, please, I apologize, let's forgive. For this last election, please, let's forgive. We can't continue to hold the hurt so much. It will stop us from progress. These are bad people who want the division to continue so that we will not be able to reason properly for ourselves. So it's a gimmick to set us against each other. You are not my brother. You are not my problem, my brother. You are not my problem, my sister. It is those who are manipulating us that are trying to cause chaos amongst us. So please, whoever is hot, I beg, on behalf of the integrity and the hope we expect in this country, let's forgive. Another thing, we need to hold our politicians accountable. That's why I say kudos to you, sir. Please, a big round of applause for Reverend. A big round of applause for Reverend. As a church is set up an advocacy group, most churches will not try it, because they'll be waiting for the day one politician will come and donate drum.
That's a powerful message there.
Alright guys, thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. So please share your thoughts. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye for now.